Hello, I am Mrs. Hedges, and this is my vet wine class at the ACE Center at Hermitage. And today we're going to finish up learning about dog breeds, and we're going to be working on some review questions for multiple breeds of animals that we have learned about. And then we're also going to be starting on a dog breed project where they have to investigate a specific breed, present pictures, and all the information and statistics about that breed that they've chosen. So those are the things that we will be working on today. So guys, on your slides from yesterday, there are 3 breeds. I want you to pull out your slides, your other notes, and I want you to put big X's through them because I don't want you to care about them. I know. We did all of that work, and there's 3 of them that I'm like, forget it. I don't want them to be included. No, they're just not as popular, and the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, I don't want you to be focused on more than you really need to be because it's a lot of material as it is, and I don't want you to be like bogged down with stuff that I've decided is not quite as pertinent as I originally thought. So the Old English Sheepdog, you can disregard that. The Rhodesian Ridgeback, you can also disregard. And let me remember the third one. Wait, the Whippet, you can also disregard. I'm so sorry. Forget the Whippet. Jamie's not there yet. So help Jamie figure out, because she hasn't gotten all the notes since she was out yesterday. Olivia, will you help her know which ones I'm referring to? But we are going to add 2 that I neglected to include. Is it going to mess it up if I turn off the light? It's okay. Yeah, you can shift. So we're going to do 2 more. So you need to sit where you can see if you need to. Rhodesian Ridgeback, Old English Sheepdog, and Whippet. And I was kind of on the fence about the Shar-Pei because they're not that popular anymore either. We'll leave it. All right, so this one here that I've neglected to include is the Doberman. It is part of the working group. These dogs were originally bred for, can anyone guess?
Working. Protection? The police field.
Back further.
Oh, guard dogs.
Guard dogs. Hold on. Where's your page that was passed out to you?
Oh, yeah, I know.
This is where we are. Right here on this one.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so they back in long time ago in like Eastern European regions, Germany, Austria, stuff like that. These dogs were originally bred to help guard your big castles, like some of the other larger breed dogs. These are very high energy, active dogs. If you notice though, their body structure is very different than some of our bully breeds like Cane Corsos and whatnot because they're tall, but they're also very long and slender. So they're a little bit more agile for running through woods and stuff like that after people that they don't want on their property.
Do I have to write this stuff down?
Yes. You want to take notes on what I'm talking about. Okay. So it's a Doberman. It's part of the working group. We have kind of integrated them into our houses as pets. People still like them to have them as protection and kind of like guarding of their family. They're very family oriented, so they're not necessarily by nature very social. We can encourage that behavior as they become more popular. People will take them places and socialize them so they become much more welcoming with strangers. But by nature, they usually were very into just their family. They're very loyal, but they're also very confident dogs. There's not much that makes them uncomfortable or fearful. Usually, if you come across one who's very sketchy and nervous about life, it's because they've kind of lived in a bubble and the owners have never introduced them to anything in the outside world. So these dogs typically don't have much fear. They can have a very aggressive, intimidating bark, very deep, and they get to be, weight range is probably females in about the 80-pound mark up to about 100 pounds in the males, give or take. Lifespan on a Doberman's probably 12 to 14 years average. These guys, unfortunately, are also very prone to bone cancers. So that is a health concern with them.
Right when she's talking, she's saying it's.
Yes.
Is that breed specific or just like in big dogs?
No, they would have a higher incidence of bone cancers than regular other breeds of their size.
Okay.
Yes. Lifespan is like about 10 to 12 years. Is that what I said? 10 to 12? 12 to 14, sorry. Rots are 10 to 12.
Thank you.
Yes. So these guys, I put a picture. We do crop in America. We do crop their tails and their ears. So they're kind of like some of the other dogs we've seen, the boxers with the taller ears. There's some various cuts that you can do. So you might see different shapes to the ears depending on what the owners want or what the dogs are being used for. But they also, if you want to look up a picture of an uncut Doberman, they have naturally very floppy ears, and they resemble a black and tan coonhound very much. Like if you put the two faces of one side by side, you might be like, which one's which? Because their markings and the floppy ears change their complete facial appearance. And then their tails are usually by nature would be long and whip-like. These dogs come in a variety of colors, so they'll be like black with tan markings, or they'll be chocolate with tan markings. They also have been genetically changed through breeding processes to be blue. If you have a blue Doberman, they are going to have skin problems because it's not natural. We've created it. So typically anything that we try to inject the blue gene into, they start to have skin issues. It's just the way it is. So if you want a blue Doberman, they can be pretty, but you're probably going to be visiting a dermatologist during its lifetime.
Are Dobermans on the taller side or smaller?
So an average Doberman at like ideal range of height and weight would probably hit me at the shoulders about mid-thigh to give you an idea of how tall they are. I can tell you in inches, but that doesn't mean as much. Yes?
Is there such thing as a mini one?
Yeah, so Dobermans have a like cousin that's called the miniature Pinscher, and they look very similar, but they're like this big. They're different dogs. They're not just like shrunken Dobermans. Kind of like the Sheltie versus the Collie or some of those other ones. But they look really similar, just like we shrunk them down. But they're not as popular as they used to be either. And those dogs are like usually not.
How's that possible? To shrink them down?
You don't really shrink them down.
I know that, but like, what do they breed them with?
I have no idea. They're their own dogs, so it's not like we mixed a bunch of things to get them. I think they got a name as like miniature Dober or miniature Pinschers because they look very much like this dog.
When they have floppy ears, how do you drop them to stand up?
All right, so they don't naturally want to stand up because they were born with ears that are upright, so their cartilage isn't sturdy enough to hold the ears naturally. So we go through a surgical process where we trim all of the outside of the pinna away, and all this cartilage gets taken out. Then what we do is we call what's posting them or taping them. And you actually use like foam tubing that's like this big around, and you insert it down into the ear, and you glue it with like adhesive that doesn't come off very easily to the inside of the pinna to hold it upright. Then you use a special kind of tape to wrap it, and then you do what we call the crown, which is just a fancy term for foam tubing that we tape, that tapes the ears together to hold them like this. So essentially, when you're done, the ears look just like my hands with this taping in the middle to hold them in place. And they're taped like that for like a month or more, depending on how long it takes for the ears to start holding their shape upright. Some dogs, their ears, you'll spend the money on the surgery, and their ears will never stand correctly. There's just no guarantee. Most of them do fine because we've trained their ears from the get-go. We do it when they're puppies. Once they get past a certain age, you can't do it. The ears won't take. So there's a lot of controversy over cutting. It's not allowed. It's against the law now in European countries. The European nations and the kennel clubs over there have worked to have any kind of cropping outlawed because they consider it inhumane. Like we talked about before, I've been a part of it. I've done anesthesia for multiples. The last clinic I was at did a lot of cropping because he's very good at it. But as long as you're doing it responsibly and you're using appropriate pain control for it, I don't personally have a problem with it. People buy these dogs because they want them to look like this. They don't buy a Doberman because they want it to look like a coonhound. So you got to expect if you're going to buy a breed, that breed standard has historically had cropped ears or tail, that they're going to want to follow suit. Yeah.
Does a cropped ear or tail have
No. I would say the crop tail would in a situation where you have amputated it because of another problem. But when breeders get the tails cropped, it's done at 3 to 4 days of age. And they just go in, and the bones aren't fused, so you can very easily just cut through the end of the vertebrae, in between the vertebrae and the tail, with scissors. You can just cut it right off with medical scissors, not just paper scissors. And it'll stitch up the end and it'll heal very quickly. But once they get past that like week, 5-day window of the newborns, the tail, then you don't do it at that point, and then you have to wait until they're older, and we'll like crop it when they're 6 months of age, and it's actually at that point not a crop, it's an amputation, because the bones have developed to a point where it's actually a more invasive surgery to do that. So more often than not, you'll get this dog, you'll buy it, and its tail's going to be cropped. It's going to be cut when you get it, but then you have the choice of whether or not you want to do the ears. But if you get a dog from Europe, they will have 0 cropping because it's against the law. Any other questions?
It's considered against the law.
Yes, Jamie. Oh, she can't talk.
Do these dogs stomach flip?
Yes, because they are deep-chested dogs. As you can see, the chest cavity is deeper than 2/3 of the torso length. They do have a higher rate of GDV.
What does that mean?
The gastric dilation volvus, which is where the stomach inflates with air and then flips over and becomes life-threatening. Any other questions about these guys? They can be. I think that they have come around in years because of the becoming increasingly more popular, so more and more people are breeding them, so I think that their personalities have kind of mellowed. There are, of course, always exceptions, so they are still a very confident dog, but they aren't necessarily as like overbearing or assertive about their protection tendencies as they once were. So they are becoming better integrated as family dogs. I've met some really nice ones, and then there are the ones who are just crazy and don't get enough training. So our other one is our Rottweiler that I added, because we definitely need to talk about him. He's popular. If you have a Rottweiler, I'm not going to try and offend you. You just need to be prepared. They're one of my least favorite breeds for very particular reasons. These are big dogs. They're very, by nature, very aggressive dogs. They're very confident dogs. These are also dogs that will be fine one minute and not fine the next. Now, obviously, remember, these are all generalizations. There are exceptions to everything. Some people can have a Rottweiler that is completely unlike any other Rottweiler you've met, and they're very loving, and they're very trustworthy, and they're fantastic. But overall, these dogs aren't usually good with anyone outside of their immediate family that live in their home. Sometimes not even people that live in their home. They can be very particular about who they attach themselves to. And they'll come in and they'll appear like easygoing and happy and tail wagging, and then all of a sudden they've decided they don't like what's going on and they're super aggressive. So you always want, when you're dealing with Rottweilers, not to be fearful. I don't want you to walk in because they're going to sense your uncomfortableness like any other animal. But you definitely always need to keep in the back of your mind, like, this is a big dog who can do a lot of damage and does not give you a lot of really good body language or warning signs that they're going to become unhappy. A lot of injuries to people come from these dogs because they're big and they're unpredictable sometimes, and they can do a lot of damage. Just like the people that are historically upset about the pit bulls, they have the same myotonic reaction in their jaw muscles when they clamp down, where they have a delayed release. So a lot of times they're like biting and you're just kind of stuck. Yes?
Are they bred for guarding too?
Yes. They are typically bred. Most of the time people who breeding sell to people who are very interested in having a big, mean, loud dog in their home for protection, or just because it looks really good to have a big, tough dog. Yes, Peyton?
Do they have any health issues?
Yeah, so these guys are also super prone to osteosarcomas, which are bone cancers, unfortunately. And they have a tendency to have some heart problems along the lines too. I wouldn't say it's like kind of like the Cavaliers, like I can guarantee you almost with certainty that you're going to have a Cavalier with a heart problem. This isn't quite that extreme, but I understand that they have a bigger rate of heart problems than other large breed dogs. Yes?
What's the lifespan and how much do they weigh?
So these dogs, on average, females are about 80 pounds, and then males top out around 120, but they can get bigger. But they are large, thick, heavy-set dogs. They have broad chests and very dense bone structures. So even though they might only be right at about my knee at the shoulders, or maybe a little bit taller, they're still going to be heavy because they're very muscular and their bones are very big. And that gives them weight when they're trying to, fulfill their protection duties or whatever. They can still run fast and chase you down. Their tails do get cropped super short. Some of our other breeds, we leave like 3 or 4 vertebrae. These guys have like 2 vertebrae left in their tail. So they just end up with these little nubs, which are kind of cute. And then we don't crop their ears. They're shorter and they just kind of flip over. They don't get cropped. Yes?
How long do they live?
So they live about 12 years, 10 to 12 years approximately, unless of course they get cancer at about 7 years old, which seems to be the magic number. They also don't have an inordinate amount of dental issues. I've actually not seen many rats with really bad teeth. I don't know if it's because they tend to be active chewers. They are kind of high energy, but they don't necessarily need the running, super endless amounts of exercise. They need more consistent walking and just routine kind of stimulation. But they can also very easily just be lazy in your house and lay on your couch and be content with that too. They're not going to, most of them don't suffer from separation anxiety or other stressful things that make them destructive or problematic because they're so confident in nature. They're just like, I got this, I'm the stuff, and you're going to know it. Which is why they're unpredictable, because they're confident enough to not worry about what you think or how you feel about things.
Do they come in just that color?
Yes, Rottweilers are just black and tan. They might have a little bit more brown on it, might go farther up, but they're primarily just going to be black with the copper tan color. Yes.
Would you need a muzzle for them?
Yes, a lot of them come in. Some come with their own muzzles, and then a lot of them we just know the owner puts the muzzle on in the room. Like I told you, I had an experience. There are rots that we can manage without muzzles or that they get accustomed to us, especially you have owners who are aware of their breed and what their tendencies are, and so they work hard to socialize them. They also, it's really good when they come in and they start doing routine visits, even if nothing's happening. They'll just come into the hospital or to their daycare facility, where they board, to just visit, maybe get a treat. Maybe get used to the people, get used to the smells, get used to being in that environment. So then when they have to come for their annual visit or because they're sick, it's not as overwhelming because they're like, oh, I've been here and good things have happened, instead of always being slightly like, I don't like this place. It's awkward. It smells bad. These people are weird. What's going to happen? And then, it becomes a little bit more of an unpredictable situation for them. So yeah, having them come in and get socialized with us definitely improves that, but a lot of times with certain, the Malinois too, owners come with their own muzzles because they know they're bad. They're not going to do well in that environment. Hospitals are scary. Even though we're trying to do good things there, they're not a comfortable place. There's lots of weird smells, there's lots of weird sounds, there's lots of things happening that they're not accustomed to, so their stress level's already slightly elevated even in the best situations. So thank you for joining us today as we reviewed some dog breeds, and we're glad you could be a part of it.
Vet Tech I!